We'll now begin working on the third string, which, if you remember, is G. Third string open, G. Then the next note, A, which is on the second fret, and we'll play that with our second finger. And the third note, B, which is the same as the second string open. In this case, though, we're going to play with our fourth finger on the fourth fret. This will probably seem familiar to you because we tuned that way. Fourth string, fourth fret, third string, to the second string open. They're exactly the same notes, they're just alternative positions. So if you look at study number 8, when we play the B in the third bar, we play it with our fourth finger on the fourth fret. The reason for this is because there are certain situations where we need that B note and perhaps another note on the second string, and so we can't play them both on the same string, so we need a different position on the other string in order to do that. So we'll begin getting used to playing a few notes in alternate positions. So we'll begin this one quite slowly, second finger on the A, fourth finger on the B. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do that one once again. And remember to keep the left hand parallel with the neck. Try to avoid that habit. Also try to avoid the thumb coming up, and keep in mind that arm that is just hanging relaxed. 1, 2, 3, 4. That exercise you could practice both rest stroke and free stroke. Study number 9 alternates now between the use of the B string, or the B note, on the B string, second string open, and on the third string, on the fourth fret. So pay careful attention to the string indications, which are the numbers which are in circles. So the third note, first fret, first bar, you'll see has a 3 in a circle. That means you play that B note on the third string. And then on the third bar, we have an open. We could also have a 2 encircled, but in this case, since there's only one way to play B open, it's obvious that it's on the second string. Also, pay careful attention to the right hand fingering. Again, it's very important. So study number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, study number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. At this point, we're going to introduce your first, I suppose you could call, solo piece. What I mean by that is that you're not only going to be playing a melody, but an accompaniment to go along with it. So at this point, I'm going to introduce what you could call two-part music. In other words, melody and accompaniment. If you notice, look at the first bar, you'll see some notes with stems going up and some notes with the stem going down. The notes with the stem going up is your melodic line. The notes with the stem going down are your accompaniment. So they're separate lines. It's almost as if two instruments were playing each line, and you count them together. What I mean by that is that you don't count, in the first bar we have a C note. The very first note is a C note and a half note. Below that is something which you haven't seen before either. What that is a quarter note rest, that sort of squiggly line underneath the C note. Now what that indicates is that for the first beat, only the upper melody has a note. The accompaniment is silent at that point. The accompaniment comes in on the second beat, which is your G note, the dotted G note. So the first beat we have C, second beat we have G. Then in the third beat we go to the C in the melody, and the fourth beat, we have a D, again, which is part of your melody. So you recount that: C, first beat, G, second beat, C, third beat, D, fourth beat. Meanwhile, while you're playing all that, the G, which you played on the second beat, rings through. So in effect, that line is still active. The accompaniment is ringing for 3 beats while you're playing a melody over top of that. Let me just play the first bar for you. I think you'll get the idea. So first beat, we have the C note, which is your melody. Then we have the accompaniment. If I just played the melody for that bar, it would be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. But on the second beat, we introduce the accompaniment. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. A very common mistake is that people count the half note, give it 2 beats, then they go to the next note, which is a dotted half note, the G. So they count 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3, and then the 2 quarter notes, 1, 2. So in other words, they have 2 plus 3 plus 2 ones. They have 7 beats in that measure, which doesn't make sense because we're in 4/4. We can only have 4 beats. So you count them independently. They each have their own independent life. You should note that the accompaniment lines, the ones with the stems down, consist entirely of G notes. The entire accompaniment is just third string open. Also note in the last bar, we have a little black square at the bottom of the staff. That's a whole note rest, which means that the accompaniment is not playing anything at that point. Also above we have DC affiné, which if you remember means go back to the beginning and play till you come to fine, the finish. That's the end. So let me play the piece for you. It's one I'm sure you'll recognize after having heard it a few times, called Folk Song. And listen again for the melody accompaniment idea. 1, 2, 3, 4.